And welcome into a Wednesday edition of Philly Voice Sports Bets. Eitan Shander, Harry Mays, and Devin Caney with you. And we are just days away from the World Series Game 1, which is Friday night. I don't know if any of you guys are going to be putting out any Philly stuff today or if you're waiting until Friday. But I will tell you right now, I told you on Monday I put my bet in on the Phillies again because I think I've been good luck by betting them in all of these respective series. But I got nothing additional for the Phillies today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I don't think that's a negative by any means, right? We're still waiting, and there's nothing that's forcing what.
My hat's all crooked.
Oh,
I thought a mess.
Jeez.
This is I need swing it and ding it gear, man.
Okay, because here I thought there was something wrong with the connection.
No,
I thought I was frozen, or as long as don't do that to me. All right, Cherico's not here as we're recording today, so my concern is that this show we're going to do for 15, 18 minutes, and it's going to get lost somewhere. So don't screw with my heart. All right, Harry?
Although you do have a blurry background. Did you notice that, Devin? His background, I see he's in a kitchen or something, but it's a little blurry.
I did notice that. I love the blurry backgrounds. We try to cover up where we are anytime we can see that you're in a kitchen. Just
so how do you do that?
Okay.
Well, it's a blur option, right? So there are two ways in which people take the Zoom call, right? It's either, hey, I'm going to be on TV, or I'm doing my thing, or I'm doing my show, what have you. You want to show off. What I normally have is the green screen, right? But since it's just me and my son here, I have to keep an eye on this child walking and climbing all over the place. So I'm in a different part of the house. And it's just an easier day, Harry, if I blur out my background as opposed to my wife being on me about, I don't want people seeing the house. I don't want them seeing this. Right. So, for me, it's just, but exactly. Right. And I think a lot of people with COVID first, right, when that first happened, a lot of people working from home, they didn't want to have their background. They didn't want to have their life involved. So the blur thing, I think, is only a couple of years old, right?
Well, maybe I should start doing that and get rid of this stupid green screen behind me.
Well, look, Devin, I wouldn't blur out what you have. That's pretty impressive. But Harry, I mean, you and I have had this conversation for a while. You're like 3/4, you're like 7/8 green screen and 1/8 living room.
Right.
So your green screen doesn't.
Yeah. Maybe I should just go full blur. We'll go full blur, but I got a lot of football plays here for this show today, and even a golf play that I didn't include in my golf podcast last night. So,
by the way, real quick, before you go to football, all the props are up for the World Series. You're just not, and I haven't placed a wager either on a side total player prop, what have you. You're just saying you're not betting it yet, right? Just want to clarify. Okay,
correct.
Okay,
yes. Okay. I'm looking at the NFL right now, and I was looking at first gut feel when I'm looking at these lines, and a couple of things kind of jumped out at me. First of all, I'm taking the Eagles, and I'm laying the 10.5. I think this is going to be a beatdown of epic proportions, similar to that debate last night. I think the Eagles are just going to roll, and I think their defense is going to make Mr. Pickett, who I actually like, by the way, but I think he's going to look really poor in this game and throw a couple of picks, and I could see a pick six. I may even take an Eagles defensive special teams touchdown at some point before this game. So I'm laying the 10.5 and feeling very good about it.
I totally agree with you when it comes to picks. I think if there's any sort of interception prop, I haven't placed anything yet, but that's what I'm eyeing. I also like the defensive special teams pick six because Kenny Pickett threw 3 interceptions against the Dolphins, and now he's going to face Darius Slay, CJ Gardner-Johnson, the Eagles secondary that's been picking off left and right. Not pun intended there. Kenny Pickett.
And they've had a bunch of pick sixes already this year, haven't they? I remember a couple of them.
Yeah,
the Eagles. Yeah,
Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we had at least 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if. I don't. For me, the 10.5 is just a big number, so I don't know if I'm laying the points there. I like the Eagles to win, but based on their second half scoring so far and what they've done in the second half, especially the third quarter where they just kind of let up, I don't know if I trust that they're going to get up by 10.5 by the end of the game.
So No play, or I'm sorry, are you going to? You're not laying, meaning you're
I'm not
just not
laying
going
the
to play.
points.
Okay,
No, but
so
I
you're
like
not
the
going to take the
interception
points.
defensive
Okay,
props. Yes.
okay. I wasn't sure if you're going to take the points with Pittsburgh at 10.5.
Oh no, I'm not. I
Okay.
just don't know if I touch it at all.
Now, is this going to be an in-game play for you, Eitan, or what do you got?
No, I think for me, what I'm going to do here is do two things. All right. I'm going to go under 16. Son of a bitch. It just dropped to now. I was watching this thing as Devin was talking. I was watching it go from 17.5 to 16.5. And now it's at 15.5. It's tilting. It's back at 16.5. It's the team total for the Steelers.
Oh,
So I would not go under 15.5 just because it's plus money. You know that you've lost 2 points of value. You're taking the worst of it. So I'm on DK and it's going up and down as we speak. Literally, the arrow is going up and down. So 16.5, under 16.5 at minus 120, I can take. I can deal with that. The other play that I absolutely love in this game, and I think it correlates, Harry, with you at least laying the 10.5, but all of us believing that this is going to be an Eagles victory, is going over the total 21 points in the first half. I mean, theoretically, the Eagles could go over that in the second quarter alone, right?
yeah.
So
they've done that several times.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is tilting back and forth, 21.5, 21. So if you're watching this video on Philly Voice and you're thinking to yourself, well, it's at 21 now, 21.5 was the high mark. So the number is tilting 21.5. But the spread, like the juice, what you're laying is actually not moving as much. So I'm fine even going over 21.5, but recognize that you're now buying into a hook market that wasn't there initially. So under 16.5 Steelers, over 21 first half total for me.
Okay.
And I also
good.
like the overall under for total points because the Steelers have yet to put up, I believe, more than 23 points once this season, and the Eagles don't score in the third quarter or much in the second half. So I think they'll put up most of their points once again in the first half, but I just don't see this being a high scoring game.
All right.
So under 43.
Under 43 and a half was last.
Yep.
Okay. Well, the unders are still clicking at about close to 60% clip, I think, for the season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're in good shape.
you got to feel good about that. Another one that jumped out at me was this Washington-Indianapolis game. Indianapolis, of course, has now moved on from Matt Ryan, and they just jumped right over Nick Foles and are putting in Ellinger, who has never made a start in the NFL. Out of Texas. He wasn't a very impressive quarterback. He doesn't have a big arm or anything. He's one of these kind of Colt McCoy kind of guys, I think, that might have a long career in the NFL and end up making a bunch of starts in relief, but I don't think he's ever going to amount to much. But
Jag, Harry. You ever hear Pat Kerwin say that about somebody? Jag?
no.
Just a guy.
Just a guy. Okay, I like that. I might have to adopt that. But yeah, I think he's just a guy. But just a guy is favored by 3 at home.
No, never. Was at 4, Harry, on
Okay.
10/24 is when I got Washington at 4. That was before the news.
Okay, but this Heineke guy, has kind of lit a spark, I think, with this Washington team. I'm taking the Washington football team plus the 3. You got it at 4. Good for you. I think they win the game outright.
Yeah, I was so tempted. I might circle back. I know the money line's a little watered down here because the spread has dropped, but still, you're at 3. That's fine. I don't think you'll take the worst of it. I wouldn't be shocked, honestly, if this does move through 3.
Really? 2.5?
Yeah, just as more people recognize that it's and you never, ever do this. This is why week 1 played out so nicely. You never lay points with a rookie quarterback, and you never lay points with a rookie head coach in their first game. Does it happen every now and again? Sure. But never, especially in a situation like it's not like this is the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills. It's not like the Colts are a well-oiled machine that happen to lose their quarterback due to injury. This is a dog shit offense. So
yeah. That will rely even more so on the running back, Taylor, who returned last week from injury. I think, this is a pretty easy game plan for the Washington football team to get another win. So I'll take the Commanders plus the points.
Another NFC team that I like, and I feel so gross even saying this, Giants, underdogs to the Seahawks this week, plus 3. But I like Giants money line, plus 124 on FanDuel. I think the Giants, I hate to say it, they're a much improved
team.
For real. And Yeah, so I love that Geno Smith, like I feel like he's still not really getting recognition for his performance. Like his stats rank, a lot of his stats rank in the top of the league right now as quarterback, but I think the Giants are the better team here. So
I like the over in that game, actually. I like over 45 in that game.
Not bad. Yeah. I'm surprised that it's actually so low.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think if you were going to play a side, the value is definitely on the Giants, the money line. I also think since the Giants are dogs here, this is a really good opportunity to tease them. And they are just
get the 9 or 10.
They're fantastic. When you get them over 8 points, Daniel Jones' record is just fantastic. A lot of backdoor stuff, but I mean, this is really the battle of two coaches who have made the most out of not much. And then the total I was a little surprised with as well. So I'm with you. I think the over makes a lot of both of these teams can score a lot of points in a quick amount.
I saw that the Giants, for what it's worth with these stupid power rankings that everybody feels obligated to put out every week.
Here we go.
I saw the Giants are like 5th in most of them. I'm like, if they're the 5th best team in the NFL has serious issues. Seriously.
Are the Eagles at least the first?
In a couple of them, yes.
Okay.
Eagles and Bills.
Yeah,
pretty much split up. But are you serious? The Giants are the 5th. I know they're improved. Okay, I know they're much better coached. You can just tell by watching them. But if they're the 5th best team in the NFL is really weak.
Well, speaking of which, are we going to talk about that Monday night game or what here?
Oh, yeah. Cairo Santos, my man. Over 1.5 field goals. Bam. I even took I jumped in on the interception prop for Fields. Over half an interception, minus 175. I love that, and the rushing yards too at 43.
Yeah, that was easy money. Yeah. Right. So I must have been blacked out at like 6 a.m. after a couple of hits on Fox 29 on Monday morning.
And hits to the bong.
No. I can't do that in the car. I know it's downtown Philly where anything goes, Harry, but I can't do that specific. Not if I have to go back in and talk to people, and I also have to like raise the sun at 7 a.m. So I can't just show up blazed out of my skull. Point being is that look at this. So I took some insurance here. Fox bet that they maxed me out at $40, right? They maxed me out at 40. I took some insurance here thinking, all right, if the Bears win, I might as well just play. And I don't even remember placing this. I got killed on Monday night. I went 2-6 thanks to Cairo Santos and Fields rushing. So those are the only two that I hit. I missed 6 other bets. And then this little sucker here. And I looked at my account and I was like, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. So I'll take it, ladies and gentlemen.
Sir.
Bang. Look
Plus
at that.
540.
This is a terrible bet. Don't ever place this. This is like negative EV. This is a bankroll loser right here. But you know what? Something must have been in my bloodstream at 6 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah, you were feeling bold. You were feeling bold at 6 a.m. on a Monday. Yeah. Had you showed me that before the game, I would have been like, "Are you okay?" I don't know if that's
exactly.
Well, I remember the Eitan days of being blazed out of his head, so I would not have been surprised that he didn't remember putting that bet in.
I'm just saying, I wanted to make sure we were bringing up the Monday night game because if we're patting ourselves on the back, nobody's going to believe that unless I show them the ticket. That's all.
But the overall under was dead. I kind of realized that in the second quarter. I'm like, man, the Bears are scoring way too many goddamn points.
Imagine being a Patriots fan, right? You're all excited. You show up to celebrate this jackass head coach moving past George Halas.
Yeah.
And it should be like this amazing night. There's no Brady there to take away from any shine. And
the symmetry of beating the Bears to pass Papa Bear. It would have been perfect.
And what does he do? He sabotages the night. It's almost like he went out there to spite everybody and he started Mac Jones unnecessarily only to put in Zappe after.
And then Zappe... Go ahead.
Sorry. I just saw someone tweet after that game that it's proof that Belichick is actually a mediocre coach when he doesn't have Tom Brady. And I'm not a Bill Belichick fan, so you do kind of love to see it. I'm happy for the Bears. I didn't place any bets on that game. So I wasn't a genius like you at 6 in the morning. I wish I had. But
I was an idiot.
Yeah. People have been kind of trashing the Bears all season, which they have had good reason to up until Monday night. So
it's a good point, though. I mean, that's a hell of a win for them.
It is, but I'm not buying into the Aikman narrative that this might be the turning point for the franchise. He was pumping that up in the second half. I mean, come on.
No.
You know, Fields made a couple of nice throws, but man, he drives you nuts with
No, he
taking
does.
sacks. I mean, how about all the back and forth towards the end of that first half where he'd get sacked, lose 20, then he'd run the ball for 25, then he'd lose another 20. Judon was in the backfield just like wreaking havoc. I'm like, this guy drives me crazy. I can never root.
That's
for
why
him.
you always take his rushing props, Harry, because
Yeah.
the sack, it's not college. The
That's
sack
right.
doesn't
It
count
doesn't count
his
against.
rush. Yep. So
That's
you
a
keep
great.
loading
That's
him
a
up.
great point. That's a great point.
All right,
Let's
what
see.
else you got here?
I'm going to take a college play here because people would be disappointed if I didn't. Syracuse at home hosting Notre Dame. This game isn't being played in Yankee Stadium, one of these neutral site things that Notre Dame tends to do to their opponents. This is at the Carrier Dome, and there's a lot of juice for this orange football team. Garrett Schrader's a darn good quarterback, transferred in from Mississippi State. I've been watching this team. I watched a lot of them against Clemson last week on the road, where I thought they held up pretty nicely. They're only laying 3 at home to Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost to Marshall and Stanford.
Yep. Terrible year.
Stanford stinks. I'm taking the Cuse, and I'm laying the 3 at home.
I like that. That was not on my radar, Harry, but
Mhm.
it is now. That's
Yeah.
that's a good play right there.
The Irish are always over bet, and
Yep.
their fan base will bet them no matter
Still.
what they look like. So to me, some of the lines are influenced by that, and I think Syracuse is a much better football team.
Love it. Love it. All right, I'll sneak one in here just for Thursday night before we get. Well, I have some NBA stuff. I know the Sixers play, so I don't know if either of you were looking at that. But real quick, Justin Tucker over 7.5 points for Thursday night football. He's gone over this number every single game except week 1. The only outlier was against the Patriots, where he would have had 8 points if he didn't miss an extra point. So when's the next time Justin Tucker is going to miss an extra point? Probably
Right.
It's like Haley's Comet,
Yep.
right? You're not going to see that for another 1,000 years. So if you look at this after week 1, 8-7 missed extra point, 8-13, 8-11. Short week. The Ravens are very tight right now. They're blowing leads like they can't help it. And that's how they're going to manufacture a lot of points. So over 7.5 points. For
I like it.
Don't mess with field goals because he can easily get some extra points here. So I would just go over 7.5 points.
I like it. Now you're thinking though 2 field goals at least right there in that 7.5, right?
Yeah, but his field goal number is probably going to be 2.5, and I wouldn't mess with that. So I'm just going to go points here.
All right, I like it. He's the best. Could be the best ever. And our buddy Randy Brown is his coach, so I will tail you on that.
There you go.
There you go.
Any NBA? Am I the only one betting the NBA tonight?
You're the only one
like
watching
NBA,
the NBA.
Like, what do you have for the NBA? Who can think of the NBA in a time like
Jesus.
this?
All right.
Are they playing?
The Bucks have scored over. The Bucks have scored $120 in 8 of their last 11 games against the Nets. They're hosting Brooklyn right now. Ben Simmons fouled out last game. Awful scenario up there. So I'm going over 117.5 team total for Milwaukee. Over 3.5 long distance for Damian Lillard. This is falling. It was at plus 110. Amazingly, he's unconscious right now, and he's trying to send a message to the league. So get that still while you can at plus money. Low number for Tyler Hero, 2.5, because he's struggling, but he still has a lot of volume there. So I went over 2.5 threes for Tyler Hero. And last, hate to do it to our guy here, to the big fella, but over 3.5 turnovers for Joel Embiid is plus 125.
That's a lot.
That's a really good number for a guy who just. And look, the Sixers could win by 50, and he could still turn the ball over by 4.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, yeah. How much? Do we know how much he's been averaging turnovers so far this year? I know they've only
I'm
had
glad
played,
you
5
asked.
games.
3.8. And
Wow.
if you look at it, I mean, he's right there. Now he had a 6 and a 4, but that's kind of more of what we've seen. I think the outlier would be the 2 turnover game against the Spurs. So he's going to have the ball. And look, it's just the nature of it, right? You only played 28 minutes against the Pacers, so you would have had more turnovers. That's all.
Is Doc still the coach?
Oh, do you want odds on that?
Yes.
You know, the odds on this, I know we have to get out, but the odds on this here, Rivers and Nash right now. Steve Nash and Doc. Doc is 2-1. Steve Nash is 3-1. And then you have a couple of other guys. Like Darvin Ham is 12-1. They just hired this guy. They just brought him out. They had this huge thing. Steven Silas, you know the Rockets are going to tank. What's new there? Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks have a winning record. I don't know why they would fire him right now. Nate McMillan, the Hawks are much better this year. No. Billy Donovan on the Bulls. I think honestly, you lost a lot of value, but if you wanted to just play a 2-to-1 bet in general, Doc Rivers first coach to get. Now, here's the thing. If you place a bet on that, Devin, Harry, everybody else, you are now invested, economically, financially invested in rooting against the Philadelphia 76ers.
True. So that's the thing. I think he maybe should be. I don't know if he will be. I don't think that the Sixers organization I just don't see them being a mid-season fire of anyone, but especially Doc Rivers. Like, I just don't see them doing that.
Boy, you'd hate to see Ben Simmons get his coach fired.
Right?
I don't see Nash be fired either, though.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think it's easier to fire a guy. Like, I don't think the whole Kevin Durant, I want out or these guys out thing just went away, like dissipated and into the air. So I think it's easier for the Nets to turn around and give in, make them happy, what have you, if the team sucks and they say, look, we can fire Nash, as opposed to like, oh, it's the offseason. Let's just blow everybody out because Kevin Durant's unhappy. So I don't think it's going to happen necessarily, but I think to your point, it stands a better chance of happening than Doc. Like, I think there's actually, with that said, I think there's actually a small amount of value left on taking Steve Nash to be the first guy fired over Doc, only because you're getting 3-to-1 as opposed to 2-to-1 respectively.
I think if the Sixers either just underperform throughout the entire season, like it's still so early and too early to call anything, or do what they've always done, make it to the playoffs, whatever round they get knocked out in, then I think Doc will be fired.
That's it.
I think they're going to give him one more full season, though.
All right, there it is for a Wednesday. Justin Tucker over 7.5 for the Thursday night football game, and we'll see you Friday.